Richard Gordon, and you're listening to a football podcast from the BBC. Today's podcast comes from the Sportsound programme of Monday the 2nd of May. It was D-Day for Dundee United. They had the city derby against their local rivals Dundee at Dens Park, knowing that if they didn't win the match, they'd be heading down to the Championship next season. All the action was described by our commentator, Liam McLeod.
The story of United's season, they went in front today, but they couldn't hold on. They have been beaten, and Dundee United are down. O'Ferry gave them the lead in the second half. Hemmings and Whiten turned the game on its head, and that means that Dundee have relegated their neighbours, United, in the most dramatic of circumstances. It is a first relegation since '95, and a club that as recently as 18 months ago was top of the Scottish Premiership faces as uncertain a future as it has ever faced. And to make matters worse, the sound you hear in the background is the Dundee supporters who are currently taking great delight in their neighbours' demise. A demise that has been on the cards for most of this season. Players have been sold for big money in the past few years, yet not replaced with the kind of calibre required to match the expectations of a support that is used to things like cup finals, top six finishes and European football. A club that was once the definition of heroic has been dumped out of the top league in Scotland, and here at Dens Park, where they won back-to-back League Cups, where they celebrated their only top-flight title, where Richard Gough and Paul Hegarty hoisted a heroic Jim McLean high up on their shoulders in what is the jewel in the United legacy. It started under Jackie McNamara last season and the departures of Mackay Stephen, Armstrong and later Chief G. It's been too hot for United to handle. A miserable 9 league wins in a year and a half since then. And it all ends under Mixu Patalainen, who was the equivalent of a new captain boarding the Titanic after the iceberg was hit. The shirts are the same colour as those who wore the tangerine, the famous tangerine here in 1983. But the club is barely recognisable from the one that had such halcyon days here. And it's going to have to quickly find its identity again, because they may just have been packed off to the wolves. The Championship and its quicksand awaits them. It finished here with the Terrors limply going down to the Championship. Dundee 2, Dundee United 1.
The biggest games, breaking news and exclusive interviews. Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah, a number of United fans decided they couldn't stomach this, but there were plenty who did stay, and to be fair to them, they've been applauding those Dundee United players as they leave the pitch. One or two perhaps shouting and pointing in accusatory fashion, but in the main they're applauding the United players, and those last few United players just leaving the pitch. The Dundee players have been out there. They've been lapping up the exultation, and my goodness, in this old main stand here, what an eruption, and so typical that the key moment came from Greg Stewart. His quick thinking, his quick free kick. He picked out Craig Whiten, and the youngster stroked it into the bottom corner. Just his second goal of the season for Dundee. He did get one for Raith Roberts when he was out on loan there earlier in the season, but it was calmness, coolness personified, and it was a goal that had this old main stand absolutely bouncing and jumping. There are, you look around, the looks on the Dundee fans' faces, it was as if they had just won the Scottish Cup, as if they had just been promoted, as if it had been a moment of great triumph for them. Well, it clearly feels exactly the same as that, because they have seen Dundee United relegated. That is it. It won't matter for United what happens between now and the end of the season. They will be playing second tier football next time around. So Dundee, with that victory, move on to 47 points. Scarlet Thistle have 46. It's Partick Thistle 41, Hamilton 39 and Kilmarnock 35. It's between those three then to find out who finishes in second bottom in that relegation playoff place. And Dundee United, a 23rd defeat in 35 league matches this season. They remain 11 points adrift. They cannot now catch any of the sides above them. Dundee United have been relegated after losing the derby by 2 goals to 1 here at Dens Park, and well, still smiles on the faces of the Dundee fans all around us. There will be all sorts of recriminations, all sorts of post-mortems, and as far as United are concerned, they certainly showed plenty in that second half. But it kind of summed up their season, Tom English. No, you're still busy writing, or you're creating for the nation? No, you can speak as well.
Yeah, I can
kind of summed it up. Another game in which they've been in front, they've had chances, and you look at the full-time scoreline.
You know, they're kind of seasoned in microcosm to an extent, put themselves into position, couldn't hold on to that position, and lost the match. And we've seen that more than once this season. Credit to Dundee, you know, I mean, that was a bit of a shocker when O'Farrill scored. United could have scored again, but they really rallied well. Greg Stewart was very instrumental. Went quiet at the start of the second half, but came good. Excellent performance from him.
Incidentally, just briefly, Eden Hazard has just equalised for Chelsea.
Oh my
so
Lord.
Spurs were 2-0 up in that one. Chelsea brought it back to 2-2.
Wow.
There were mental scenes here. There'll be mental scenes down there as well.
Yeah, there could be mental scenes down there. United fans are walking out quietly. I don't think this has come as any surprise. It'll be a shock as well. You know, the end is always a shock. But they knew this was coming. They were just hoping it wasn't coming tonight. But United just were not good enough to keep their paper-thin hopes of survival alive for another day. And this is it. It's ended as we thought it would end. It's ended correctly, in my opinion. United were the worst team in the league, and tonight the damage wasn't done tonight. This is just a final confirmation of it. The damage was done in the many months before tonight.
Well, that's for sure, and it's all come to roost here this evening. Willie, you've seen a lot of United right the way through the campaign, and like me, I went through a spell. I know Alan Preston also just seemed to be games where the same scenario unfolded, and I mean, it was only going to delay the inevitable, you feel, but it is going to hurt even more for everyone there at Tannadice, isn't it, that it happened here?
Absolutely, Richard. The last place that they would want it to happen, that's for sure, but it was inevitable. You know, Dundee were streets ahead of Dundee United tonight. You know, when United got that goal, I thought, you know, the unlikely was going to happen, but again, they showed their weakness. I think it was really the first goal rather than the second goal. They had no option but to throw bodies forward. You know, once it went to 1-1, but the first goal, they've got to be stronger, they've got to defend that corner, they've got to defend it for their life, and they didn't. But they didn't do enough. They were better in the second half, absolutely better in the second half. But that's only measured by how poor they were in the first half. Dundee were streets ahead of them in terms of playing the game. I thought United started to play the game a bit better, got it in the ground and passed the ball a bit better in the second half, and then went into their shell a little bit, just trying to see the game out. They were never going to do that. They haven't showed the skill or the determination or the grit to see games out throughout the season. And they've got what they deserve, haven't they? You know, they've deserved relegation because of the amount of games that they've lost, the least amount of points that they've amassed throughout the season. And I think tonight just kind of sums it all up. Not good enough in the first half, bit of spirit, getting themselves into a position, you know, to win the game and then throwing it away eventually. So they are relegated. It's a big club that's relegated. Don't like to see big clubs out of our top flight, but they've got to regroup, they've got to reform, they've got to find a bit of spirit, and they've got to get themselves back up as quickly as they possibly can. But of course, that won't be easy, will it?
No, we've seen that. We've seen examples of other clubs. It is just continues this remarkable run in recent years of some of our biggest clubs having to play football down the divisions. That's certainly going to be the case for Dundee United. Let's get down to Chris. He's been down there pitch side. He's been down by the tunnel. One or two things happening down there, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing to mention is the Dundee fans simply do not want to go home. They are absolutely delighted singing away in that far side, and down here in the main stand as well, just beginning to trickle away. But that's one side of it. The sad side is that a few of the Dundee United backroom guys walked past me, tears streaming down their face at full time. Also, perhaps worth pointing out that a few Dundee United fans made their way onto the pitch, the frustration just getting too much. I heard a few calling out for Stephen Thompson to go. I looked up and the Dundee United chairman had gone. I think with around 5 minutes to go he had left. I'm not sure if that was on recommendation for his own security or not, but he certainly had left the stadium with around 5 minutes to go. But the Dundee fans, as you can imagine, absolutely delighted, and certainly a huge band in that far side just refusing to go home, playing around with beach balls, and yeah, the stewards are having an awful time trying to get them out the door.
Yeah, it's across the corner of the dairy there, the corner that was nearest to where the United fans were, although all the United fans have long since gone, you'd imagine. Most of them will be trying to slide home as quietly as possible, while the Dundee fans will continue celebrating deep into the night. We talked about this at the start of the programme, Darren, about the joy unconfined that football fans take in the miseries of other football fans. I mean, it was like winning Gold Cup final here at the back of the main stand. There were people falling about all over the place.
Yeah, they're trying to get on top of me. Yeah, they're going to celebrate, and they've every right to celebrate. They've had a better season than obviously Dundee United. They've had to put up with it for many years, so they're going to milk it, and they're going to celebrate for a while. And as I say, they've got every right to do that. But it is a sad night. As you said, Richard, you don't like Scottish big clubs going down, getting relegated. In the last few years, big clubs have been in the lower divisions, and it doesn't make good for Scottish football. But if you're not good enough, you get relegated. And I'll stand by. I said I guarantee they would stay up. I've been proven wrong, but what I knew in the dressing room, that I couldn't see Dundee United getting relegated, but they've just obviously not shown enough.
Right, we'll chat more, we'll get a reaction from them hopefully as well, but let's get down to Chris with Paul Hartley.
Yeah, Paul, congratulations first of all on a pretty emphatic derby win. Your thoughts first of all?
Really proud of my players. They dug in, they showed a different side to them, going a goal down against the run of play, because I thought we were terrific the first half. Just the final ball maybe let us down, but our movement, we controlled the game. They played a route one, we handled it really well, and you know, we gave away sloppy possession, and they punished us. But real credit to the players, they dug in, they got a goal. But the second goal's terrific in terms of, we never just threw the ball into the box, we worked it. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, they're up against a Dundee United side, obviously fighting for their lives, but there was immense character on your side tonight, wasn't there?
Yeah, there has been all season. You know, we've probably drawn too many games, but we're a good team, we've got good players, they keep going to the end, and the amount of times we've scored late goals, I'm really proud of this group.
Yeah, I was just talking about these fans over on the far side. I think they're in for the night. You can hear what it means to them. What does it mean to Dundee?
It means Dundee are the only team in the Premiership next season in the city, but I'm not here to celebrate Dundee United going down. I'm here to just be proud of my players, and it was important for us to win tonight. We want to try and finish the season undefeated, stay 7th. We've beat last year's points tally. Financially, it's important that we finish as high as we can.
You understand why these fans might celebrate into the night, though?
Yeah, I mean, they've went through a lot over the last 20-30 years, and they're just proud of the team tonight.
Paul, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done to Paul Hartley. I mean, it was almost as if Dundee were kind of, well, the game itself and the build-up was all overshadowed by the talk as to what might happen to Dundee United. Much of the talk in the wake of it all will be about what will happen to Dundee United, how they'll cope with life down in the second year, what on earth is going to happen with them. But bottom line is, it's a very good win for Dundee. Well, it's a season in which they've emerged unbeaten against the rivals, 2-2 draws down the road and 2-2-1 wins up here.
Yeah, I thought it was impressive football. First half I was loving it. Greg Stewart, that's the best I've seen him play. Absolutely. I mean, we know he's got talent, we know he's got composure, but I thought on the night tonight, some of the stuff that he showed and his close control, you know, the fact he's playing with his head up, his little touches, he was brave to take it in tight areas. You know, he set up teammates extremely well, wait a pass forward into their path. I just thought that his game had everything tonight. I thought it was superb, but I thought the Dundee team in general were pretty good. Paul Hartley's every right to be proud of them. I thought that first half performance was exceptional. United were never really at the races in the first half, but you can understand that as well, the pressure that is on them. But all round I thought Dundee in the first half, their two wide fullbacks I thought were excellent. McGinn and Holt getting forward. United didn't have an answer for it. I thought their tactics were poor in the first half, sorted it out a little bit in the second half by getting players in the wide area to stop them getting forward. But generally I felt that Dundee were superb throughout, and they did show a different side. They showed a lot of character. They dug in. It looked as though United were going to get something from the game, maybe a victory. Certainly they had the opportunity. They had a couple of cracking chances, didn't they? You know, with Ferry, fantastic save by Scott Bain, and Erskine, who lashed a little bit at the opportunity that he had as well. So two fabulous chances for United to put this game to bed, but they didn't take it. I think it would have been unjustified for them to get a victory here tonight, although you would take it, absolutely you would take it. But I thought Dundee were by far the better side. Paul Hartley put together a group of players that to play for him, play the football the right way. His problem now, of course, is hanging on to the players that he's managed to put together into the squad.
Yeah, I thought he started his rebuilding. He seems to do it very early. He's got a couple of players signed up already in pre-contracts from Cali Thistle. But yes, I mean, there are key players in that Dundee team that he will definitely want to be around for as long as is possible. Still, those Dundee fans away across there. Well, they're singing "We Shall Not Be Moved." They're determined to remain here and to just enjoy the atmosphere. It'll be a very, very different atmosphere, very different feeling in that away dressing room here at Dens Park. They're into the 3rd minute of stoppage time. There's 6 minutes of stoppage time I hear down at Stamford Bridge, and it's still 2-2 between Spurs or Chelsea and Spurs. And of course, if it stays that way, Leicester City are champions of English football. And that's the joy, that's the incredible excitement, the highs of football. Of course, United, as you'll know, Darren, will be suffering those lows right now. That dressing room must be about the worst place for a football player to be right now.
Must be, yes. I've never experienced it actually, so and it's great for me that I'm not. But it must be a terrible dressing room. The jobs are going to be at stake. Players, as we spoke earlier, will move on. People at the club are going to lose their jobs, and it's just. It must be a terrible dressing room and horrible to be in there just now. But if they hold their hands up and say we've not been good enough, because they haven't, as I said earlier, I stuck my neck out, and I did honestly believe that they were good enough to get themselves out of it. But I've been wrong, and it's a sad day.
Well, you based that obviously on your experience of the players who were there when you were there. Obviously, some new faces have come in. The simple truth is they have underperformed, haven't they? Because that squad should not be getting relegated from the top flight.
No, they shouldn't, without a doubt. When you see the ability, I mean, we're talking tonight, yes, there's no doubt Dundee were the better side first half and most of the second half. There's no doubt about that. But that's because they're confident. That's because they've been winning games. When you're losing games constantly, it's hard to make up a pass, make 3, 4, 5, 6 passes and play good football. And you could see that tonight. They were very, very nervous tonight, and Dundee were just playing with a freedom.
Right, devastation for Dundee United, but it looks like it's going to be absolute joy and confined for Leicester City. Let's just dip in, shall we? Just at the closing stages of that game at Stamford Bridge. It's going out live in our BBC radio colleague 5 Live sister station. The commentary continuing, and we're getting ever closer to the full-time whistle. 6 minutes, remember, of stoppage time. John Murray describing the action down there.
Time is up. We've had the 6 minutes. Leicester are nearly there. Hang on to your hats, Leicester City. Only seconds away from your title-winning moment. I don't think Mark Clattenburg is going to go back to Eric Dyer, you know. Well, what a scene, what a night, what a way to win it. We've said that Leicester City might win it tonight without kicking a ball. Those Leicester City players, certainly the supporters, Claudio Ranieri, if he's following this game, they must feel like they've been in a match tonight.
The emotions would have definitely been going through the roof, I know that, but right now, they'll be delighted.
Free kick to Chelsea. Willian is going to take this. This may well be the last action of the game. Willian with a free kick for Chelsea. Oh, he's angled it wide here to the left-hand side. They're not going to take it to the corner flag, are they? They are! And that's it! It's finished 2-2. And we can say now Leicester City are the Premier League champions.
A remarkable story. It is one of the most incredible stories in modern day football. And well, you heard John Murray there saying, wonder if Ranieri is tuning into this. Ranieri saying earlier he wouldn't be. Said he'd be flying home from Italy. He went out to have lunch with his 96-year-old mother, and he'd be on the plane flying home. I thought there was so much stoppage time in that game, he might have been landed by the time he got out. Anyway, it's a remarkable story. Congratulations to Leicester City and all their new fans all around. Leicester have all become our second favourite team, I think, for most of us during the course of this season. So they are the champions, but very, very different here as Dundee United slip meekly out of the Premiership. So many big decisions to be taken in the next few days, the next few weeks. They're going to have. I know that there was a lot of talk about plans already being put in place in recent weeks because it seemed like it was inevitable. There were one or two occasions during the course of the season where they rallied a wee bit, where they would get the odd win, they would give their fans hope. But what they never did was put together that 3, 4, 5 match run that you're going to need if you're going to survive. Yeah,
they never got within touching distance, Richard, you know, and you know, the pressure comes on, and when you're that far away, okay, that there has been, you know, amazing comebacks towards the end of the season, or teams that have managed to turn it around, but it was that gap, you know, it was just so big. And what you're then hoping for, you're not just hoping for outstanding performances from Dundee United, but you're hoping for all the luck to go with you all of the time, which we all know in football, it doesn't go like that, does it? I think the performances haven't been good enough throughout the season. Absolutely, they found themselves down there, they couldn't rescue it, they couldn't find what it takes, that inner strength, even though, you know, the team looks good on paper. I think it's really difficult for senior pros who've not been used to being in that situation to deal with it on a day-to-day basis, and they haven't dealt with it. But now they've got to sort it in a way, you know, get the pain out the way. It was inevitable, it was going to happen. It's happened now. Now they've got to build for the future. It's going to take strong leadership at Dundee United. They've got to search for that leadership, and they've got to put the plans in place. I'm sure that they do have plans in place anyway financially. They've got to make the decision about the managers. Does manager stay? Do you give them enough time to turn it around and get them back up you know, from the Championship? You know, does the board stay the same? Does Stephen Thompson stay in place? Does he try to find someone else to come in? There's huge decisions to be made at the club. It's one of our biggest clubs. It's disappointing to see them go down into the Championship. Be good for the Championship because you know, United will take bigger crowds than they're used to down there, but at the same time we want them in the top tier. But if you're not good enough, it's a meritocracy. You've got to be good enough, otherwise you don't stay in the top division, and they haven't been good enough.
Yeah, that's Dundee United in the Championship going down the way. Dunfermline, of course, will be in the Championship going up the way. You've got the teams that have already shown to be very competitive throughout the course of this season. Two of, if not all three, of Wraith Rovers, Falkirk and Hibernian will be in the Championship next season. And this is before Dundee even, I mean, that's once they finally get to out in the park. They've got so much to do, Tom, between now and then.
They have an awful lot of work to do on the pitch, in the boardroom, to get themselves back in reasonable shape to launch a bid to get back up to the Premiership. It's going to be dog eat dog in that league again, especially if Wraith Rovers and Hibs are in it. It's a Falkirk. I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted, the Championship, and the hearts have been a bit faint in Dundee United for most of this season. They're going to have to rebuild. I think they're a troubled club. They're a broken club, actually. The fans have no faith in the board. There's a big problem there. I think season tickets, that could be a challenge to shift some of them now.
Well, one man who's certainly got some questions to answer is Mixu Patline, and he's with Chris.
Mixu, I wonder if that's a game that kind of sums up United's season.
Oh, yes, it does. Simply not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Today, as on so many occasions, we had Dundee. We were comfortable, took a lead, threatened after that, had chances, and then what happens after that? 2 set-piece goals, sheer softness, poor defending, not taking responsibility, not enough leadership, not ruthless enough, making sure that my man doesn't do anything. If I'm zonal, that area is mine, nothing happens there. We are nowhere near the standard we should be, and that's why we're down. Same things happen again and again and again, and it's not only one or two players. It's so many players, and if you have so many players with a slack attitude, softness, that's a consequence. Simple as that.
You're obviously angry. A few of the backroom guys passed me in tears, understandably. This is a huge night for this club, isn't it?
It's a devastating night. But you get exactly what you deserve from the season, and not good enough.
How big a fight, Mixu, do United face to get back up again?
Massive fight. But one thing is for sure, that we've been here now working a few months with the boys. They're honest boys, working wise, training wise. They try. We need to make so many changes, not only team wise, but also elsewhere, to bounce back stronger. There's so many slack areas in the football departments. We simply need to improve those before we get better. When we look at our team, we need to make wholesale changes here, because that is too soft, that is too slack, that is simply not enough quality. And obviously we've been here now a few months, and we've got the knowledge. We've realised that for months now, how poor we are when we are poor. I think that in certain spells and matches we've shown real character and good quality football. Like I said earlier, we've dominated so many matches and had so many clear-cut opportunities to score. We haven't taken them. If you don't do that, you're under pressure. And now we need to use that knowledge that we've gathered during these months to make those changes and build this club again. Everything starts from the field of play. Everything starts from there, and we need to get a strong, hungry, hard-working, energetic team out there, and that's our aim.
You say that this is a club that now has to make wholesale changes. Do you expect there to be a change in manager?
Could well be. Well, it's not in my hands. I am desperate to build this team again. Brand new. Like I said, make this really dynamic, really aggressive, good attacking force, and play with players who take responsibility and are strong on the pitch. We've got the knowledge what we must do. We've got the knowledge regarding the players. We've got the knowledge regarding some other issues, footballing issues that are there to be sorted out. Well, only a fool would put that to waste. We are desperate to do that. We started that already. We targeted people, players and other people also, and it's a massive job. It's not easy, but that has to be done.
Yeah, you clearly want to stay. When do you expect to know whether you will be staying?
This is a wonderful club. Dundee United is a club close to my heart, and I'm more than motivated to do it, desperate to do it and rebuild it. We've been working very hard these months that we've been here, and nothing changes. We've realised that we can't do too many changes at once, but thankfully this summer, when it comes, and it starts now, straight away before the summer comes, we've got time, and we must not waste one day.
Do you expect to know your future soon, though?
Well, I keep working accordingly. Nothing changes. I don't anticipate anything else.
Just finally, does it make it all the more difficult for it to be confirmed here?
Of course it does. It's our derby rivals. I feel so sorry for our supporters. Again, we had great number of supporters here. Again, in great voice, supporting the team. This has been a miserable season for the club, for the team, for the supporters. They suffered a lot. Yet, they come out and support like that. That shows how wonderful our supporters are. but and I thought that today we gave them a little bit, but obviously not.
Thanks, Mixu.
Thank you.
Mixu Paasalainen there. He's talking about having the hope that he will be given the opportunity to be part of building this club forward. He talked about the team, he talked about all sorts. Football department, he said, behind the scenes, I mean, he's essentially talking about a club that needs to be, by the sound of things, as far as he's concerned, just stripped bare and restarted.
Yeah, and he says he's got the knowledge, and only a fool would put that to waste. It's kind of a strange comment. He's been manager since October. It's almost 7 months. It's not like 7 weeks. It's nearly 7 months. Now, Mixu there blamed the players, the football department, the board, kind of indifference of a board. The one person he didn't blame was himself. Didn't point the finger at himself at all in that interview, and hasn't done really over the course of the last 6-7 months, when things have gone from bad to worse. The signings have been awful. How about looking in the mirror, Mixu? And I don't know where he gets this, apart from a desperate sense that he wants the job and thinks he can do it, where he gets the kind of idea that he is the solution, when clearly he has been part of the problem.
We wait to find out whether he will be given the opportunity, how many of those players will be given the opportunity, who indeed will be in charge of the club. And this is it, Willie. It's not just a team, it's so much, it seems, that has to be resolved. So many decisions have to be taken, and they're going to have to be taken quickly.
It depends what his actual remit is at the club. He's manager, but has he got the remit to, it sounds as though he wants to just change the whole club, right from the roots, the development side of things, the other football issues within the club. What is he talking about? The background staff, the physiotherapy, the development, the coaches. We don't know what he's talking about, but whether he'll get the opportunity to do that, I'm not so sure, because the development situation, and Dan will know, that's been in place for a long time at United, and it's produced. So, if I'm in the board of directors, I'm saying to the manager, I'm sorry, you're not tinkering with that. That has produced players. Okay, the board have sold these players on. That's absolutely. The problem now. But it's produced. What are the football issues that he's talking about?
But where are they going to get the money to keep investing in the youth structure? If they're in the championship, they're going to take a financial hit. They're losing money. Where are they going to get the finance, apart from if they sell Andy Robertson, fine. Yeah. But they're going to be operating on much less money now. They're going to continue to shovel money into whatever six-figure sum it is into the youth development. I'm not sure where they're going to get it from.
No, but if Mixu's talking about making major changes in the football department, then that's going to cost, because you're then talking about moving people on within the football department and bringing new people in, and that's like a business plan. He's talking about a new business plan to put forward to the board of directors, as well as he's just slaughtered these players.
Yeah.
He hasn't given any of them much wriggle room to say, look, Gaffer, I'm a good player here and I'll play for you going forward.
Right, we're just about there. Darren, just final thoughts from your club. Inside out, of course, player, you're involved in the management as well earlier on in this season. What are your thoughts as United face up to second-tier football?
Well, I've said it, Richard, it's a sad night for a big club in Scotland to go down. A club that obviously I've played for and been coached there, and believed that they were good enough to stay up, but it's just not been there. There's just not been enough fight. You can say sometimes luck's not going their way, but over a season the table doesn't lie, and unfortunately they've not been good enough, and I'm absolutely gutted for them.
Thanks to everybody who's been involved. It was a 2-1 win for Dundee, which killed it off. Craig Whiten deep into stoppage time with a winning goal as Dundee came from behind, and just typically in the way that this season has gone, cruelly United in front and having their hopes built up only for them to have it dashed all again. Down in England, Chelsea and Spurs drew 2-2. That means Leicester City have won the English Premier League, and Mark Selby from Leicester has just won the World Snooker Championship. Not a bad night for Leicester, it has to be said. But here in Scotland, we've got the playoffs to look forward to. They begin tomorrow night. We'll have live commentary Wednesday of the first leg between Wraith Rovers and Hibernian. But in the meantime, from all of us here at Dens Park, good night. That's it, thanks for listening. Remember to keep right up to date with all the very latest Scottish football news. BBC Radio Scotland 810 medium wave, 92 to 95 FM, online and on digital. And there's always comprehensive coverage of Scottish football at the website bbc.co.uk/sportscotland.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Radio Scotland.